Welcome to Punch TV, I'm Bruce Townhill and today we're going to help you choose some headgear. In the marketplace you've got three distinct types of headgear, generally speaking. You've got an open face headgear which has basically no chin protection. You have a full face headgear which has full chin and cheek protection. And then you have a face saver or jaw saver headgear which has a solid bar running across the jawline and the same features as the full face headgear. So they're your three main categories. How do you choose between them? Well, that's relevant to a couple of things. I think the first thing that's relevant is how hot the temperature is where you're training. The more you're encased in headgear, the hotter you're going to get, and that can really disturb you when you're sparring. So I'd recommend in temperate climates the full face headgear and the face bar headgear are great. If you're somewhere where it's really cooking and tropical, maybe the open face headgear is the only one you can tolerate. But generally speaking, it's down to sport. So if you're in the sport of amateur boxing, this tends to be their headgear of choice. No chin protection, pretty easy on and off. The whole idea is to give you maximum vision, maximum coolness. Amateur boxing don't have to deal with knees, kicks and elbows. So this is the headgear you'd choose if you're just amateur boxing. Lace adjustment on top, Velcro adjustment at the back, low profile ears. That's the other thing, is the more padding you get, the bulkier you get, the more likely you are to get hit. So the lower the profile of the headgear, the better if you're just trying to slip and weave punches. Now, probably the mainstay of training in the world is the full face headgear. Once again, picking this up, it's almost twice the weight of that headgear for a good reason. This headgear is specially made with gel cheek inserts. It's extra thick cowhide leather. It's got extra thick ears. It's got eardrum protection. It really is designed for heavy, 10, 12 rounds of sparring a session. It's got these sweat wicking linings inside that prevent the headgear from moving around. We do have that in some amateur headgear as well. That's the idea of these pads, is they actually lock into your face and you don't get any slip. So the big thing about a headgear, besides the design, is the fit, and I'll go into that in a minute. So just finishing off, a full face headgear is your most protective headgear. It's designed, they have to be designed extremely well. Always buy a brand name in headgear, simply because they have to be tailor-made. It's like runners. You can buy a simple runner that's hardly shaped, or you can buy one with gel inserts and shaped beautifully for long distance running. Headgear is the same. This has rear head protection, front head protection, side head protection. Not much on top, because that's a foul in fighting, but also to let the heat out of the headgear. So once you've adjusted the top, you Velcro the back, and it just slips on and off your head. The last one is the face saver headgear. I'd highly recommend this headgear. This is my favourite headgear. If you're like an executive or you're not into actual fighting but you enjoy sparring, which a lot of people do as a sport, this really saves you a lot of scuffing on the face and a lot of marking. It's a little bit embarrassing when you go to work and you look like you've been in the local street brawl and you're a stockbroker. So the whole idea of this is to give maximum protection to your face. I'd highly recommend this headgear too if you're sparring people who are a lot taller than you. Because this gives you the protection down low. If you are doing Muay Thai sparring, and if they lift a knee and you don't see it coming, that will go a long way to protecting your jawline. So these three headgear are your main choices. Let's just go into fit now. When you're fitting a headgear, it's really the essential part of headgear is the fit, even more than the protective qualities. So the fit comes into how well the headgear is shaped and made. Let's have a look at a full face headgear. So what I'll be doing is I'll be picking that for boxing, this one for professional boxing, Muay Thai and kickboxing, and this one I'd really recommend if you're doing a lot of heavy sparring, or you're a person that probably isn't ring fighting but really just wants to save their face as much as possible. I'd recommend that one. So once you've chosen your headgear, let's get back to fit. These cheek pieces turn in hard against the cheek. The idea of that is this headgear still gives you full peripheral vision and you can see the person's feet and their head. That's essential when you're kickboxing and Thai boxing. Be very careful of buying headgear that looks okay, but it's got great big fat cheek pieces that bend outward. They will blind you and you will not see wide uppercuts, you will not see wide hooks, you will not see kicks coming, and it's going to be a very unpleasant experience if you buy a poorly shaped headgear. The other thing is the gel shock pieces do help keep the profile of the headgear low but very absorbent to shock. The big fat ears really help the cartilage here. If you get a hook to the head and you damage this cartilage, the ear will shrink away into a small bud, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of pro fighters with damaged ears, same with wrestlers, same with professional footballers. You wear headgear to prevent that damage. You also wear headgear to prevent cuts. So when you come together quickly in sparring, sometimes you can clash and you can get a split straight away. That's devastating if it's right before a booked ring fight and you've suddenly got to front up with a split. That's pretty well a no-go. So you wear headgear to prevent injuries before you fight. The other thing people forget is that with headgear, when you're wearing it, you can have a fall. Now, in the ring, it's relatively safe to have a fall, but a lot of people spar because of room. You might have 2 or 3 people in the ring, a ref and 2 people sparring, or a coach, and then the rest of the students are out on the floor doing lighter sparring, but they can still have a fall. So if you fall over with headgear on, you've got a lot less chance of cutting yourself open on an obstacle around the gym. So in hindsight, looking back, always choose leather in headgear. If you're serious about your sport, and even if you're just doing it for fun, the leather with the sweat wicking linings is the way to go. This one's got a sweat wicking lining in the chin as well, because a lot of sweat pours down and pools in here. And what that does is it pulls the sweat away from your chin and stops the headgear rotting out as well. So I generally, to recap, use open face for amateur boxing only, full face for general purpose student training, general purpose sparring, whether it's serious boxing, kickboxing or Muay Thai, providing it's made well. And I'd choose this one if you're a person that's got like a delicate nose or chin, or you just want to do a lot of sparring without getting too scuffed up, especially as you get older. That can be an issue where your skin blemishes very easy. So I hope that's made your choice easier. The next segment will show you how to fit a headgear so it fits perfectly.